Having been a landscape photographer for 7 years now, there are many locations that I would consider to be really high up on my bucket list. Madeira, Iceland, some of the UK locations such as Snowdonia, Lake District, Scotland. But there's one location up in the Arctic Circle that's been calling out to me ever since I picked up a camera, and that is the Lofoten Islands. It's a location I've wanted to come to, as I say, for such a long time. And unfortunately, through Thumbs Up Photography, I've met a couple of great friends, Gary and Dave, and we've booked a trip to the wonderful Lofoten Islands.
Excited for the week ahead, myself, Dave and Suggy headed to Heathrow, where we'd catch a flight over to Tromsø and a connecting flight to Leknes. Unfortunately, the travel from Tromsø to Leknes didn't go quite as planned. There was massive delays in customs, which meant we missed our connecting flight onto Leknes. After spending 6 hours at the airport, we finally got some help from a lovely lady at Tromsø Airport, who managed to get us a connecting flight to Bodo and then finally a final flight over to Leknes. We landed quite late that night, arriving into our accommodation at about midnight, and decided to go to bed pretty much straight away, ready for the week ahead. The next day, still tired from our travel, we used this more as a exploratory day, checking out a lot of the honeypot locations. On the way, we noticed a dilapidated cottage next to Uttakleiv Beach, and actually thought with the light that we had it would make a good composition, so we spent probably about an hour here taking various different images, which I'll put on the screen shortly. And then we proceeded to head down to a lot of the honeypots, as I say, such as Hamnoy Bridge and Sakrasoy, finishing off the day at Sakrasoy with a cod burger, which is probably something I wouldn't eat again, but it was a fantastic day nonetheless. And we headed back to our accommodation to get ready for the next day, where we'd check out Uttakleiv and Haukland Beach.
So come down to Uttakleiv Beach this morning, and if anyone knows me, you'll know I'm really not a seascape photographer. Much more happy in the woodlands. But if there's some place to learn seascape photography, you could do it far worse than being somewhere like this, with this beautiful background that we've got. It's absolutely Baltic this morning, freezing cold. Just walked down from the car and it's just sheet packed ice everywhere. So put my micro spikes on over my wellies here and they have made the world of difference. They really have. Yeah, got fantastic grip. So yeah, I'm going to spend the morning here and see what shots we can get. Dave's just framing up a shot here. He's got this sort of orange sort of boulder, this little sort of rock pool looking out to those majestic mountains in the background there. So may have a go at stealing that in a bit because it's very nice, I must say. But I would like to try and get down to sort of the waterline there, try and make some use of these waves that are coming in because that looks spectacular as well. Actually, at the moment, Suggy's just doing just that. So yeah, that looks really interesting as well. So yeah, just going to take my time around here and try and really think about the composition. As I say, I'm far from a seascape photographer. Living in the Midlands, it's very rare for me to get to the sea. So yeah, let's see what we can get, take my time, and I'm sure we can get something decent. Right, so I have copped out a little bit here. I know I'm here really for seascape, but I couldn't resist the scene over here, the mountains, and this lovely Alpenglow. It's lighting up the top of that peak there in the distance. So I have gone in at 200mm, just on that little section there with that lovely little kiss of light coming through. Quite a nice tight crop, and you've got some nice little diagonals in the scene as well of the actual ridge lines, and it's just really quite nice. So yeah, settings wise, shooting at f7.1. I've upped the ISO to 320 because we've got a bit of a breeze here. I want to try and get a bit of a faster shutter speed. And yeah, it's just a really nice simple shot. As you'll probably see as well, we haven't really got any interest in terms of clouds, but we do have a nice sort of pink band going across the sky there. And because obviously we're so far north, what I'm hoping is that pink sort of line will stay there for quite some time. So try and make the most of that. But that is this shot. I'll pop it on screen. What I'm going to do now is really try and concentrate on some seascape photography. Here's this shot. So I'm sitting here with an extremely frozen bottom. For a very good reason though, because I have got a lovely scene here, which I've just taken from Dave with this sort of orange boulder, which has got a little cutout in it. He calls it Pac-Man. Yeah, I can see that. Shooting on my 16 to 28mm Sigma. I'm actually shooting at 20mm. I do struggle with 16mm because 16mm just means that the background mountains are just tiny. By going to 20mm, it's a little bit of a compromise. It does bring those mountains in just a little bit. I am focus stacking this though, just to make sure I've got the shot right. But basically, quite simply, got the Pac-Man rock, bottom left-hand corner. I've come off to a bit of a jaunty angle because I do like those sort of diagonals that come into the scene rather than going straight on. But that leads you straight out into that beautiful mountain range in the background there with the snow on it. It's a really nice scene. But as I say, I have focus stacked this, one for the boulder, one for the background. I don't think I'm going to need both, to be honest with you, because I am shooting at f16. But it's better to give myself that insurance policy so that when I get back into post, I know that I've got everything front to back nice and sharp. So yeah, I think I'm happy with this. So I have got a shot here that I framed up myself. I haven't stolen Dave's for once. And it's these set of rocks down here around this little pool, really quite nice, leading out to the mountains there in the background. Nice diagonal going straight into those mountains. What I'm waiting for is just these this water to come crashing over the rocks and get some nice sort of white sort of foam around these rocks. It is a very busy beach here, lots of photographers as you can see, and you can understand why, 100%. Now, this guy's leg is just in my frame, but it is what it is. I have taken a shot when he wasn't there, so should be able to do something to get him removed in post. Yeah, you know, he has every right to be here just as much as me, so I'm not bothered by that at all. But yeah, if this works out any good, I will pop it on screen. I'm just going to stay around this little bit for a bit, to be honest with you, because as I'm standing here, I'm just sort of eyeing up of the compositions. I might get a bit brave and go a little bit towards the water because there's some lovely water coming over that sort of little ridge just there. Just going to play with it really. The light is still really quite nice. We have got boring blue skies, unfortunately. Nothing I can do about that. But I am really enjoying this. As I say, I'm not a seascape photographer, but it's great fun to have a go. It really is.
So I have just been standing in the sea over here. Little shelf of rock leading out to the mountain down in the background. Tried a few different compositions. Used my remote shutter here. Just to fire off loads of shots as the water comes in and recedes. Just to try and get a nice sort of patterns of the foam, if you like, looking out to the mountain. I don't know if anyone works out, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'll see what I can do with them anyway. And if any of them work out, I will pop them on screen. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head over that way, where I think Gary and Dave have gone, to try and find the what's called the Dragon's Eye. I have seen the photo of it before. It looks absolutely stunning. So I'm going to go and have a play over there. So yeah, again, apologies for the audio. I did actually get a new camera to go away with on this trip, and I didn't realise I had a sort of auto off setting set on the camera. I do fix it in later clips and videos. But basically, I've got this scene here which is facing away from the coast with this beautiful golden light just coming through the valley there next to the mountain. And there's this sort of little pool of sort of like a teardrop shaped water in the foreground, which is just sort of catching the reflections of that light. It looks really quite stunning. So yeah, I'm actually really quite happy with this shot. I shot it at 16mm and portrait orientation. I hope you like it.
So I went down to the Dragon's Eye, met up with Suggy and Dave. Took the classic shot down there, but I didn't vlog it. Basically, because there's a lot of photographers there queuing to try and get the same shot. I can understand why. It's such a popular location. It's a great shot. So yeah, I didn't really want to mess around too much down there while people are trying to grab their shots. So I took a couple of shots down there, which I'll pop on screen for you now. But I think now what we're going to do is grab a quick coffee and bite to eat, head over to Haukland Beach, and yeah, see what we see there. So I've come down to Haukland Beach now, and framing up a pretty classic shot here of this boulder that's in the water, putting that on the right hand third pretty much, and then the mountains on the left hand side covering in that snow pretty much on the left hand side of the image. And what I'm doing is I'm just experimenting with different shutter speeds. So I've got a free-stop filter on the front of the lens here and also a circular polarizer to cut off some of that glare. I'm just trying to time my shots so that when I actually take the shot, you get this, and the water starts to recede back to the sea, try and get some streaks leading into the scene. The streaks aren't as good as I'd hoped, so I might have to move down the beach a little bit and see if I can try and figure something out. But as you can see, I'm standing right in the middle of the sea here, and it's coming in quite some rate. But yeah, it's very interesting. The boulder itself, I am placing sort of, giving it a nice bit of separation, if you like, between the mountains on the left-hand side and leaving sort of an equal gap on the right-hand side of the image, just to give a bit of balance to the scene. And just adding to that as well, there's possibly a cormorant on the actual boulder, which has been there for about probably 10-15 minutes now. I've taken 2 shots, or 2 compositions, should I say, one in landscape and one in portrait. I'm kind of preferring the portrait because I'm getting more of this motion in the water as it leads out to the sea. So yeah, if any of these work out, I'll pop them on screen for you. But what a beautiful location. I really love it. There's lovely turquoise colours to the sea, nice sort of warm tones to the sky at the moment as well. That contrast of warm and cold works really, really well. I thought I'd try something a little bit different while I'm here. I've never had a go at doing ICM seascape photography, so I thought, well, why not have a go? I'm thinking with the sort of turquoise colours and the warm colours they've got, I think we might be able to get something that looks quite interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and experiment with shutter speeds. Start off at 2 seconds, and basically I'm just going to go pan left to right, but try and sort of follow the sort of shape of the mountains as I pan across. One of the things I've learned with ICM from watching other videos is to start moving before you hit the shutter button, otherwise it can look a bit weird. So that's what I'm going to have a go at now. Just going to pan across left to right and see how we get on. So shooting at about 35mm, and it's going to start over the left here, start moving, then hit the shutter and move the camera with it. And as I'm doing that, I'm sort of just following the ridge line, as I say. So yeah, looks quite interesting on the back of the camera. If any of these work out any good, I will pop them on screen for you. I'm not so sure myself, but nice to try something a little bit different. Right, so I've taken a shot here that I really do quite like. I've got this ice here that's washed up, looking out to this mountain here, and the boulder on the left-hand side with the cormorants on it. And yeah, I've got the ice really close to the camera here. I'm shooting about 17-18mm, and I'm placing the ice pretty much towards the right-hand curve, and it just leads out beautifully to the rock and to the mountain there. The mountain at the moment has some lovely soft golden light on it, and it looks beautiful, and the light that's coming through at the moment is lovely and golden as well. Really quite beautiful. I'm getting some lovely patterns in the sand here now as well, which looks really quite nice. So I might have a go at that in a second, but this is beautiful. Lovely golden light. Just taking sort of about half a second exposure, just waiting for the sea to recede, create some lovely leading lines to the background there. Really, really happy with this. Right, so I've just taken a couple more shots. One over there using some sort of dark bits in the sand looking out to the same mountain I was photographing before. It looks really quite nice on the back of the camera. Again, just been experimenting with shutter speeds and just taking various shots to try and get the best I can with the tides receding back into the sea. What a great end to a great day.
Sadly, that's all I've got time for this week. I had an absolutely amazing time at Uttakleiv and Haukland Beach. I do hope you thoroughly enjoyed it. Talking of enjoying it, I'm a proud member of the Thumbs Up Photography group, and we're actually running a workshop in Lofoten in February 2027. Check the link in the description for more details. But I just want to say thank you very much for watching. See you next time.